Hello, I'm Jeff Patterson. The spade, daga, or stick and knife that we're going to play today comes from the Villabreo Kali. And this is a very rare set. I've searched all over, tried to see if I could find any of these techniques on the internet, and I haven't seen them anywhere. So it's pretty old stick and dagger practice. And within this, we're going to do what they call the Astoka, the Parada, the Avante, and the Tiada-Numarada. Now, today in this video, we're going to cover the Astokas, the Paradas, and the Avantes 1 through 6. And if you remember in the last video we did where I showed you the Kali series, where we went through the numbering system, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We went through 12 of those. Today we're going to cover those 6 strikes, but in what we call the Astokas and the Paradas. Now the Astoka is a forward kind of attack mode, and the Parada is more of a rear defensive mode. Now, when you're playing these and practicing these, for learning purposes, we're very strict. The dagger goes here, the sword goes here, it's at this angle and that angle. But remember, when you're flowing with these and you're sparring with these different guard postures, they're going to be more relaxed and more fluid, and you're going to go through kind of different variations of the same one. The idea of the guard posture is it's putting you in the position for that line of attack. So for example, our number 1 strike is here with the stick. So our Astoka for the number 1 is here. So that gives me the position to come in with that number 1 attack. Now, as we go through these, I'm going to talk about the specifics and the placements and the angles and all of that. And then we'll go again from the Astokas to the Paradas and then to the Avantes. So I'm going to show you a few different things in this video. So the first one, Astoka Issa. So when I come through here, I'm going to step into a left lead. My stick is in the right hand. Good solid base. My feet are hip width. The heel is up on the back foot. The stick, for learning purposes, is about at the chest here, up at a 45-degree angle, and straight out to the side. So if me looking at the camera to my right is a 90-degree angle, that's where the stick goes. The dagger hand is going to go 1 fist above. So if I was to put one other fist here, that's where the dagger will lie. And then if I was to put a fist here on the dagger, that's where it'll lie. So it'll be a pretty good even cross here with the stick and dagger. So when I'm in, the first one is like this. And then traditionally we'll close to here. So again, Astoka Issa. Number 2 strike is here. So Astoka Dalawa is here. So when I come in with that strike, it comes right over the top with my number 2. And traditional close. Astoka Talo. Now, my strike is here. So as you see, again, 1 fist with the dagger and the stick. Off to the side. My weight is forward in that front leg. Here, heel is up on the back foot. And my traditional close. Number 4 is the same on the other side because I'm striking with that backhand strike, but now the dagger's on the bottom. The stick is 1 fist from the hand, and the hand is 1 fist away from the dagger. So when I'm in this position, I'm in that forward posture and close. Number 5, this one is that hooking 5 strike. Remember, if you haven't learned these strikes, please go back and watch the first video, because knowing these angles is important for understanding what we're doing here with these techniques. So the number 5, I start on the center line, and the dagger again is 1 fist here and 1 fist here. So off to the side. Number 6, step back with the right leg again. This is setting me up for that forehand thrust. Now the dagger is going to be one fist from the end and one fist here in this position. And then I go to my close. Now, these are kind of the strict posture positions. But say we go Astoka Issa, and I'm in this position. Now, that's for learning the posture, but if I was sparring and I was holding this guard posture, I could be any of these angles here. And you notice the guard posture is very fluid. Now, it's very similar to this, but I'm not going to be rigid and stuck in this position. This is just giving me that angle. If I was in number 2, I might be here, moving around a little bit. So it doesn't have to be rigid. For learning, it's helpful to really get the precision on the placements, but remember, when you get more fluid with it and play it, it can be more relaxed. So those are the basic Astokas 1 through 6. Remember, that's that forward attacking position. Now we have that more defensive stance. So in that forward stance, my weight is in that front leg, mostly maybe 60-40, maybe 70-30 at times, depending on how I'm shifting my weight. And that's another important concept to remember. A lot of times we'll talk about stances and say, oh, I'll be about 60 in this position, 40 in this one, or 70-30 or whatever. In a live play scenario, you're never stuck in a 60-40 position. You're always transferring your weight and moving, and that weight is going to be varying different to different weights. So now I might go as much as maybe 75-80 for a split second if I'm moving that foot and transferring the weight and coming around, but it's always within that kind of range when you're in that stance. Now in this next stance, this is more of a rear stance. So if you look at me from the side, I'm going to kind of shift that weight more in the rear leg, and that's going to free up this lead leg for kicking or for checking if they're coming in, making it more defensive. So when I'm coming in with this stance, if I do my number 1, I just shift back into that defensive posture, but I've still got that number 1. So that's my Astoka and my Parada number 1. Parada. Number 2. Number 3. 4. 5. 6. So, Estoka-Parada. The next series is Avantes. So Avantes, remember we're just doing 1 through 6 today. There's 12 in this series, so keep your eyes open. We'll add more to this later on. The Avantes is going from the Astoka or the Parada into the strike. Now today I'm going to start with just going from the Astoka to the strike. So if I go Astoka Issa and then Avante, I come here, the stick is coming down with that number 1 strike. This hand is chambering, ready to feed, and I could chamber it in a different position if I want, but for the learning purposes, we're going to just bring that back at about a 45-degree angle to the chest here. So I could come in with that number 1 strike with the left hand. So again, Astoka Issa, Avante, close. Astoka Dalawa, Avante. Now when I step in here, I'm going to finish with the thrust, with the dagger, and this hand is checking my Achilles. So if somebody was going to strike that back foot, I'm checking here as I come in with the thrust. And you'll see why when we get into the Tiada-Numarada, which is fighting inside the circle and outside the circle, there's times where we're going to go to strike that ankle, and so we'll use that low line block to check the foot. Number 3. 4, 5. Notice how 5 is that hooking thrust. 6. Now, we did the Avantes, the forward strike, off of the Astoka. You can also do the Avantes off of the Parada. So if I'm in my Estoka-Parada-Avante, 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 Estoka-Parada-Avante. So 1 through 6, Astokas, Paradas, Avantes, we isolate those and play those individually, and then also link them together like that when you practice. So one more time I'm going to do from the side angle so you can see a little bit differently. So from here, Astoka, Parada, Avante. 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 All right, so hopefully you enjoyed this, you like these techniques. When we get into the Tiada-Numarada, is a really cool dance. It's almost like a, they used to practice it when they were in prison camps and they weren't allowed to practice martial arts. So they would do this dance by the fire and it would look very artistic and fluid, but really they were practicing their martial arts. And it's very practical, weapon-based training. We play with stick and dagger, double stick, single dagger, double dagger, empty hand to dagger, empty hand to stick. So there's a lot of different variations of this. We usually teach it in the beginning with a stick and dagger, so it teaches you how to use both hands and gets you flowing with that. But that's where we're going with this. So hopefully you're enjoying the content. Again, remember, we're putting out lots of videos, trying to get at least a couple up every week. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel below, and we will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Maraming salamat po.